So look what we got going now. I'm asking you guys now, not with a parent function, but with this function. That's a child of a parent. I'm saying, look at, with that function, I want you to translate that function 3 units down. Not the parent, but that one. So let me go ahead and, before we do that, let me go ahead and graph it really quick with my Desmos.com. Watch this.
Are you speaking to the thing again?
No, not today. Do you want to?
No.
Stop lying.
Computer doesn't work.
Obviously.
What was the absolute value of what? Can you tell me? Absolute value of what? 3x? Thank you. And then what was on the outside? Plus 4? Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, watch this. There's a function we're dealing with. It's in red, right in front of your face, and my face. You put it in projector. Okay, sorry, projector. There's the absolute value of 3x plus 2 plus 4. There it is. And what our mission right now is look, this is the mission. Take that function and bring it 3 units down. That one. Okay? I want to take this function, bring it 3 units down, and I need to write the new equation of the new function. What would it look like? Well, we're going to use our note guide from last week. That's not going anywhere. This is your, sort of like your Bible that you're going to be referring to, your transformation Bible. There's 6 of them. You got to keep referring to this. So, they want us to translate it 3 units down. Okay, out of the 6 here, which one involves translating 3 units down? Okay, these are horizontal and vertical stretches and shrinks. Let's go up here. Here's our reflections. Let's go up more. Here we are. Vertical translations. I want it down. This, if I'm going to add a k value for up or a negative k value for down. Okay, downward is negative. K is negative. So what I want to do with this function, I'm going to subtract a 3 from the 4. There's our current k value. Let me subtract 3 from it, and then the resulting function will be the translation down. Stay with me. Watch this. I'm going to bring it down here in red. Don't put the work down here. We're not doing number 2 yet. We're still doing number 1. So I'm going to rewrite it. F of x equals absolute value of 3x plus 2 plus 4. Now, a k value that will bring this function down would be a k value of negative 3. So look what I'm going to do. Put a minus 3. That's it. We're done. Well, sorry. Well, what would that minus 3 do? Look at. Good question. Thank you for asking. Right here. It's plus k. That'll be a vertical translation upward if it's positive, or downward if it's negative. So our mission right now, to answer your question, is they want us to translate this function 3 units down. So now I'm taking the function. Okay, I rewrote it. Here's a function. This is the original function. Right? Here's your original function. Now I'm subtracting 3 from it. Let's simplify now. We're not done. We got to simplify like terms. F of x. Now here's our new function. Watch this. Absolute value of 3x plus 2. Thank you. Plus 1. We're done. There's our answer. There's the new function. Let's do it, daughters, Mr. Daughters, Miss Medina. We got this. It's going to be a short session. Stick it out. I know after lunch it's like that food starts hitting you. Some of you are doubting me. I can see Medina, she's doubting me that this is actually 3 units down. Look what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch this equation in my Desmos, and you're going to see the original function going down 3 units. Check this out. Look at. Let me copy and paste. Copy. Paste, but I'm going to put a plus 1 instead of a plus 4. Look what we got, ladies and gents. Look at the purple. The purple function is a translation downward 3 units of the original red one. We started off with the red, we ended with the purple. You can actually see it right in front of your face. Translation 3 units down. Let's do number 2. Any questions there? Awesome. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 says, I'm going to go and erase this, by the way. Number 2 says here, let's take that linear function, look at 4x minus 5, f of x equals 4x minus 5, and we're going to translate it 3 units up. So we'll take this function, translate it 3 units up. Okay, so what kind of transformation? Let me go to our transformation Bible here. Which one involves translating up? So, right, they're right here on vertical translation. Look at k units upward. So k's got to be positive. So I'm just going to add a positive k of 3. There we are. So let me rewrite this function, the linear one. So this is number 2, by the way. So f of x, let me rewrite it. F of x equals 4x minus 5. Let's add a positive 3, a k value of positive 3. Watch this now. F of x then equals 4x minus 5. Let me put a plus 3. There's your positive 3. Translate it up. So let's simplify now. F of x then. What's negative 5 plus 3? Awesome. We're done. There's your transfer function. So we took the original function and translated 3 units up. Some of you who are doubting me, let me quickly graph those real quick. Which is something I want you to do when you're doing your own work. Use Desmos.com to check your work if you're doubting yourself. Look at this, 4x minus 5. Watch this. There's the original function. Look, it's a red linear function. And now watch this. Let me copy and paste. I'm going to put a minus 2. Oops. Watch this. What I did. The original's in red. The new one's in blue. Notice how the new one that's black, I took the original and moved it upward 3 units. Look at the y-intercept moved up 3 units. 1, 2, 3. The whole line moved up 3 units. So this would be our answer to this function. Right, Valdez? You're awesome, Valdez. Here we go. Number 3. Go write 3 and 4 on your notes. Go write 3 and 4, please. F of x equals 1/3 x minus 2. And then go to write semicolon, put reflection in the x-axis. And number 4, put f of x equals absolute value of 4x minus 6, and put reflection in the y-axis. Write that down. So I'm looking for now, for number 3, reflection of the x-axis. What does that look like, a reflection of the x-axis? So let me go to our note guide. Okay, here, let's see. Reflection of the x-axis. Here's reflection of the x-axis. If I multiply everything by -1, look at everything in parentheses, so I'm going to multiply the whole function, everything outside of x, by -1, that's a reflection of the x-axis. If I just multiply the x by -1, that's a reflection of the y-axis. So I'm going to multiply everything. I'm going to put everything in parentheses and multiply it by -1. Stay with me. Watch this. Pay attention. I'll put the word down here in green. Let me rewrite the function. F of x equals 1/3 x minus 2. A reflection of the x-axis involves multiplying everything by -1. Watch this. -1, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to put everything in the parentheses now. 1/3 x minus 2. Why did I put parentheses? Well, because my book guide told me to. -1 times everything. Wherever x is, I'm going to put parentheses around it. Everything. Watch what happens. There we go. Let's distribute. So I have parentheses and I have a negative 1 outside, so it's going to be f of x, and watch this now. Negative 1 times 1/3 and negative 1 times negative 2. Let's clean it up. So negative 1 times 1/3, that's going to be a negative 1/3 x. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Here's our new function. So all I did is distribute a negative 1 to everything. Notice that. Okay. Look at the other one now. We're dealing with the absolute value on number 4, but it's a reflection in the y-axis now. A reflection in the y-axis. Okay, so let me use blue on this one. Color code. Reflection in the y-axis. Let me go to my note guide. Reflection in the y-axis says I only have to multiply a negative 1 times the x. Look at right here on the linear here. A negative 1 just times the x only. So I'm looking for wherever the x is, I'm just going to multiply by a negative 1. So, here we go. Bring this down over here. So let me rewrite the function. So it's f of x equals 4x minus 6. Absolute value of 4x minus 6. Look at this. So x, I'm just going to multiply the x by negative 1. So watch how I'm going to rewrite it now. Watch. Absolute value of 4, I'm going to put a negative 1 in front of x. But because there's already 4 times the x, I'm going to put a negative 1 right here, and then I'll put the x, close the absolute value, minus 6. Look what I just did. I inserted a negative 1 there because that's going to make it reflect over the y-axis. Now let's just simplify this garbage. It looks nasty and ugly and dirty. F of x is, what's 4 times negative 1? Right, so my new function will be negative 4x minus 6. Here's a new one. This is a reflection over the y-axis because I multiplied the x by negative 1. There's your answer. Questions so far? Last 2 ones quickly, and we're done. I'm going to write 5 and 6, and we're done. 5 and 6. Last ones are going to be horizontal or vertical shrinks. So notice I'm throwing in a function at you and asking you to vertically shrink it. And then the number 6, I'm throwing a function and asking you to horizontally shrink it. Let's do these together quickly. Vertical shrink. So vertical shrink by a factor of 1/3. Let me go to my translation note guide. What does a vertical shrink involve? Let's see, let's go back. That's at the bottom. So vertical shrink at the bottom, let's see. I multiply everything by some number a. Notice, everything outside parentheses by some number a for a vertical shrink or stretch. So let me go back to the function. They gave us the a value though. The a value is 1/3. So we're going to vertically shrink this whole function by 1/3. They're giving us the a value, 1/3. So let me rewrite the function. Do this with me. Let me bring it down on here, number 5. So f of x equals 4x plus 3. There's the original function. Now look what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 1/3, which means the 1/3 is going to be outside parentheses. And that's going to be our vertical shrink. Watch this. 1/3 times the quantity 4x plus 3. Look at that. I put it outside parentheses because that's what my note guide told me to do. Now I'm going to multiply everything by a. This is distributive property. Look at here and here. So f of x then equals 1/3 times 4 just becomes 4/3 x. 1/3 times 3. 1/3 times 3 is going to be 1, huh? Done. Here's our new function. Over with. Last but not least, horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3. But remember, when we do horizontal shrinks, it's 1/a, so we have to do the reciprocal. So what's the reciprocal of 1/3? Let's see. Let me go back and double check my translation note guide. Horizontals, remember horizontals are by a factor of 1/a. It's on your notes. They're giving us the factor of 1/a, so I'm going to flip it around, do the reciprocal. What's 1/1/3? It's going to be 3. Let's see, watch this. So, I'll put this last one in green. Put it on the work right here. So f of x equals 3x plus 2 absolute value. Here we go. F of x equals absolute value 3x plus 2. So horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3. They gave us 1/3. What's the reciprocal of 1/3? What would be the reciprocal of 1/3? 3. So watch this now. The reciprocal of 1/3 means it's 3. So 1/1/3 is 3. So there's our a value. So I'm going to take, wherever I see x now, I'm replacing it with a factor of 3, but there's already a factor of 3, so I'm going to add another factor of 3 in front of the x, and that's going to horizontally shrink it. I inserted an a value in front of x, even though there's already an a value. That comes from my note guide. So this is my new a value. If you want to put a little a in quotation there, that's what this new 3 is. So let's simplify it. We're done. F of x equals absolute value. What's 3 times 3? Well, it's 9. 9x plus 2. Here's your new function that horizontally shrinks that one.